Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we took on the Montreal Canadiens in the second round of the playoffs, and we managed to beat them, which was kind of a bit of a surprise in my opinion, just because of the fact we've had some bad history with the Canadiens. But we managed to get to another conference finals where we're going to be taking on the Florida Panthers. Now, Florida is a pretty solid team. We've played them a few years ago when we went all the way to the Cup Finals, but it was all the way in round one, and they have built up a similar roster to what they had at that point in time. I'll show you guys what they're looking like, what we're looking like, and then I will also get into your guys' comments. But here is what the Florida Panthers are looking like at the moment. They do have a couple pieces that are the exact same as when we played them last. So guys like Damon Peterson, Michael Porter, and Cesar Gamache, I'm pretty sure that top line was there the last time we played them. Gamache is a really good player that was drafted first overall not too long ago. He's already played a lot of seasons and already been very good. Michael Porter is one of the older kind of guys on their team, but Damon Peterson, another good young player. So they do have some good players that they're building around, which is great to see for their organization. Also guys like Ray Courtnall, who's decent. He was drafted 11th overall not too long ago. So Florida's starting to build up a good team. They also brought in our former player Yuri Sergeyev just to give him a little bit more depth, and he's been decent there. So they are starting to build up a decent squad now. They do have a little bit of a weakness down the middle, but that doesn't really matter too much in terms of how the team will probably simulate. From a defensive standpoint, you can see Chris Whitmore, 25 years of age. This guy's been a very good defenseman up to this point, and they do still have Joseph Commodore, so those two have been together for quite a while. But the rest of their defense kind of needs a little bit of work. That's definitely their area of weakness, I would say. And then their goaltending is decent as well. They have a solid starter in Dag, but a really weak backup in Domi. So I don't know. It's a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of what this team is going to go after us. Obviously, they got to a conference finals for a reason. So they must be a decent team and all that standard. So obviously, I think the main thing for us to do to win this series would be to contain that top line, and we should be able to do it. But obviously, anything could really happen in franchise mode. As for our team, let me show you guys what we're rocking with going into this conference finals. Here is our team. Our top line has been very good up to this point. All these guys have been leading us offensively, but then it kind of dips off a lot. So I'm really hoping that we could get that depth scoring going a little bit, because obviously we can't be relying heavily on our top line, because if our top line decides to take a few games off, then we're going to get into a bit of a problematic stage. We've also been getting some offense from the back end, which is nice. Not all players have been able to contribute, but at least it's been not terrible. And then from a goaltending perspective, Mateo Burkhoff has been pretty solid up to this point. He hasn't been the best goaltender in the world, I would say, playoff-wise, but a .912 save percentage is much better than what some goaltenders would give you in the playoffs. Some goalies would give you like an .898, so I don't mind how we've been playing so far, but I really hope that we could continue to ramp up the pressure a bit and knock out Florida and get ourselves to that Cup Finals, which would either be against the Flames for the second time or the Chicago Blackhawks for the first time. So anyways, let's get into your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode. So the first comment is from Ezra Hamburg, who says, Burkhoff was so good in that round that apparently the coach figured the Raiders didn't need to play him for a game, a period in game 2. And yeah, it was a really weird scenario because he played all 60 minutes. We saw that he gave up a goal in the third period, but for some reason the stat line showed that he played 40 minutes out of 60 minutes. So I don't understand why, but it was kind of weird because it didn't even say the backup played for 20 minutes. So it's like we only had a goalie in net for 40 minutes of our game. So it's kind of weird. I don't know what the heck that case was with that. I should have probably brought that up to EA just in case that bug reoccurs, but very weird in that case for sure. The next comment is from Ian.Nolov, who says, good job, nice little revenge on the Habs. We need both strong defensive and offensive efforts from the Raiders to pass through the Panthers. That's a pretty balanced team, but I believe we finally got the spirit and experience to overcome all odds. How is the AHL team doing? The AHL team has been eliminated, it looks like, in the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, let me double check on that. Yeah, they got eliminated, unfortunately, by the Rochester Americans. And that was kind of a heartbreaking loss for them because they lost game 1 in overtime. Then they won 2 straight games. Then they lost a game in overtime. And then they lost that last game as well. So if they would have not lost this one game in overtime or this game in overtime, they would have easily won that series. But yeah, those overtime losses are definitely where they failed to win. So a little bit of a struggle for them, unfortunately, to lose there, but it is what it is. Next comment is from Sound Otaku, who says, the stat lines won't show that this round was rather poor showing from the team. I have a feeling that the offense isn't going to keep bailing out the defense and goaltending for much longer. And yeah, I kind of get what you mean. Yeah, the offense has been kind of bailing out the defense in a sense, because if we look at like the plus minuses on our playoff roster here, there's not a lot of guys that are in like the super high positives. There is a decent amount of them, but then you go to like guys like Haraknal, who was in our lineup. He was a -6. You had Fragapane, who's a -4. A couple guys on -1, and then you have a bunch of guys on like even 0. So I mean, it's not the most terrible plus minus, but obviously the offense has definitely been helping out quite a bit in terms of that, because you have these 3 guys have been amazing, and then everybody else is like half as much points, which is kind of crazy. So if those top line guys don't produce for a few games, we're going to probably get in the problematic stage, unless these guys could start stepping up a little bit more offensively and also doing a good job defensively. And our last comment is from Michael Dose, who says, congrats, got Halifax in 6 over Florida. I hope you are right, because obviously it would suck to lose in this conference finals with the guys on our team getting much older, because Wilm's already 37. So this could be his last playoff run. He might have another few years in him, who knows, but it's still like he's likely to drop off to like maybe exact top 9 potential for next season if he comes back for another year. So anyways, let's get into this conference finals and see if we can knock out Florida. If we have to go to the Cup finals against the Flames again, that's going to be a tough task, because the Flames have always been a very good team, at least over the last few years, because goaltending has been their definite strength with Colin Hutton. So anyways, let's get into game number 1. They are 8-2 so far in the playoffs. We are 8-3. Hopefully we could find a way to take game 1 and build up from there, and hopefully we could play a good defensive hockey effort in the series, not just the offense. Like, I would like to see everybody on the team scoring, obviously not just our top line, but I also want to see the defense start to play a little bit better too, and maybe get some good goaltending stats too if possible. But here we go. First period of the conference finals. We didn't think we'd be back here. Can we get it done? First period. 4-0 Halifax, which is amazing, but I am very scared because of the fact that makes me feel like our team might just score a ton of goals in this game and then just completely go bankrupt, you know? Not score a single goal again. But 3 power play goals in the first 9 minutes of the game. So they must have taken a major penalty in that early stages. Let me take a look at that, actually. Yes, they did take a cross-checking major from Winchester, and that screwed them over. Parra took a hooking penalty, and our former guy Sergeyev took a slashing penalty. So very aggressive start for the Florida Panthers, and we capitalize on a lot of it. And Hartman also scores to make it 4-0. So very good first period. Obviously, though, there is still 40 minutes to play, so we got to be a little bit careful about that. Shots are 18-9 in favor of us, so a dominant first period, probably because of that cross-checking major. Second period, still 4-0. That's a great defensive period, guys. That's exactly what we kind of need from you. Shots are even now 27-27, but we've been getting a good goaltending effort here from Burkov so far, and the offense did a lot of work in the first period. And now we're 20 minutes away from taking game 1. Can we do it? Let's see what happens. Hey, Della Rovere makes it 5-0 early in the third. That's a beautiful one to get, just to make it a little bit more safe and to show that our offense could still show up, because obviously we hadn't scored since the first period. Final few minutes here, still up by 5 goals. Can we lock this one down? Do it for Burkov, boys. Yes, we can. 5-0 shutout for Mateo Burkov in the first game of the conference finals. We outshot them 39-34, and that's exactly what I want to see from this team. But I am scared that our team might just start not scoring after this, but you never know. That was a great offensive first game and great defense. That's kind of exactly what we need to see the team do. So, Haken from Ozens and Hamalainen, Lehman from Wilm and Del Rivere, Wilm from Del Rivere and Ahinen, Hartman from Ahinen, and Del Rivere from Lehman and Wilm. So once again, I think it was that top line that was mainly doing the offense. Yeah, Del Rivere, Wilm on 3 points, Ahinen and Lehman on 2 points, so the old men doing it. And then you had Ozens, Hamalainen, Hartman, and Haken on 1 point. Plus minus wise, and there was obviously no minus players, but still good to always check for stat lines and see how players are doing. Couple guys didn't have any shots, but that's okay. Okay, let's see. Goaltending stats, there's the 34 saves from Burkov, and he actually did play all 60 minutes this time. It's not like he decided to dip out for the third period. He gets first star of the game, Del Rivera the second star, and Mauricio the third star. Mauricio and Del Rivera have been really good in this playoff run so far, so I hope that they could keep it up, because obviously that would help us a long ways. So we take game 1 5-0. We still need to win 3 more games though, so we can't get too ahead of ourselves. Chicago's up 1-0 currently on Calgary. Let's keep the team the exact same for game 2, because that was a textbook game. Obviously, if we start playing terribly, I will make some adjustments, but obviously, if we keep playing like this, there's no room for adjustments, really. So, game number 2, still on home ice. Can we get another win here? Because that would be great, headed to Florida to have a 2-0 series lead. Come on, boys, you got this. First period of game number 2. 1-0 us. Let's go. 6 straight shutout periods. Or not 6 straight shutout periods. 4 straight shutout periods. My math is all over the place, apparently. We outshot them 17-10, though. So Gabriel Degg had a really good first period for them. But Maddox Boys scores first for us. So big goal from Mad Boys. Or, yeah, Mad Boys. What you going to do? We haven't seen them like that in a while. It's good to see him actually scoring goals and picking up some points here in this playoff run, considering he's been kind of a liability at times. Shots are 17-10 in favor of us. It's a 1-0 game. Can we get some insurance in the second period and play also kind of like we did last game? Good defensive hockey. Second period. Still 1-0. So we are through 5 periods without giving up a goal. However, the shots in this one are like 29-17 in our favor, which makes me feel like Florida is going to find a way to get back into this game because we're drastically outplaying them, but their goaltender's keeping them in this game. Let's see what happens in this third period, see if we could get some insurance and play good defensive hockey for another period, because we've been playing great defensive hockey so far up to this point in time. Hey, Hammerline in a power play goal. That's a huge one. That one might go to our legs a little bit here, give us some confidence in this third period to lock this one down if possible. Come on, guys, you got this. Final 5 minutes of this third period. Oh, Courtnall breaks Burkov shutout late in the... Oh, you got to be joking me. I thought that was going to happen. Oh, my goodness. But I didn't think that was going to happen. Raymond with 9 seconds left. No, not 9 seconds left. It looked like 9 seconds left on the sim thing, but it says 26 seconds left. I don't give a shit anyways. Raymond makes it a 2-0 series lead headed to Florida, as Burkov had not allowed a goal for almost 6 straight periods, and then Courtnall and Austin tried to get this game to overtime for Florida, but a late goal by Raymond wins us the game. We outshot them 38-26. So Gabriel Degg definitely kept his team in the game, but we managed to escape with a late victory, and we have taken both games on our home ice, which is great. Obviously, we need to win games in Florida still, but that's a very good way to start off this conference finals. So boys from Ahinen and Lehman, Hamalainen from Ozens and Boucher, and Raymond from Haken and Fragapane. Let's see those 3 stars. Burkov the first star again, except for that little hiccup in the third period. Raymond the second star, and Boys the third star. I want to take a look at the player stats here in this game again. Just a bunch of guys on 1 point. Any badly minus guys? Only a couple of guys are -1. That was the second line, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I always forget which players are on which lines, except for like the top line, because the top line is the old men's club. So we're outscoring them 8-2 in these first 2 games. We almost had back-to-back shutouts if it wasn't for those random minutes where we gave up a couple goals, but that's okay. Komatov's back for the AHL, but the AHL's out of the playoffs, so we'll just go best lines. So we're 10-3 in this playoff run. We're up 2-0 on Florida. Chicago is also up 2-0 on the Calgary Flames, which is a nice thing to see. But obviously Chicago could be a good team at this stage too. If we can find a way to win one of these games in Florida, we set ourselves up for a good spot, or a terrible spot where we might just randomly collapse. But obviously we are getting close to being in a potential Stanley Cup Finals again. Hopefully we can get there, and hopefully we can knock out these Florida Panthers and get ourselves to that Cup Finals again, because we haven't been there in a few years, and I'm really surprised that this team's managed to get all back to this stage kind of. So I think we got to keep the team the same. Obviously that little hiccup near the end of the game kind of scared us a little bit, but we deserve to get a little bit of a scare. I think we've been playing some great hockey in these first 2 games, so I'm going to keep the team the exact same for game 3. Might as well not waste any time. I know this episode's only like 15 minutes in, and we're already going into a game 3 scenario, but it doesn't really matter. Let's see what happens in game 3. See if we could take at least 1 game here in Florida and help us give us a better chance at going to that Cup Finals. So here we go, guys. Let's see if we could get it done. First period of game 3. 2-1 Florida. Okay, so this is the first time we're trailing in a game. Hillman makes it 1-0 via a shorthanded goal. Cardwell ties it up for us, and Courtnall gives them the lead. Not the best first period for Burkov, but he's been playing a lot better hockey this series so far. Hopefully he can have a good second period just to hold us into it defensively, and hopefully our offense can find a way to tie it or grab that lead. Shots are 11-9 in favor of the Panthers. Let's have a good second period here, boys. Second period, 3-1. That's not great. They get an early goal from Salo to give them a 2-goal advantage going into the third. It's not like we're being outscored that badly in this game, but obviously our offense needs to find a way to get back into this one possibly. We're being outshot 22-19, down by a pair of goals going into the third. Obviously, we need a big third period here if we want to win this one. Let's see if we could maybe do what Florida did last game, but actually win for a change. That would be amazing. Come on, boys. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Can we get some goals? Mauricio Wilm, Del Rivera, somebody on the team. Lehman, maybe even. Doesn't look like we're finding our offense right now. It looks like Gabriel Degg's playing good, and Gamache makes it 4-1. That's not great. And Combs makes it 5-1. Okay, Burkov's starting to play a little bit bad, but he did face 38 shots on goal, so obviously I'm not going to put it on him. I think I am going to make some adjustments after that game, though, because obviously now Florida's back in the series. Our offense was not very much there. But we get a goal from Cardwell from Ozens, but they get 5 goals. Yeah, we need to find a way to respond to that for sure. Ozens and Cardwell with the only points in that game. And he badly minus... Oh my goodness. Yeah, Mauricio in the top line was all -3. And then we had Wilson and Fragapane who got beaten up. Booze got beaten up as well. Okay, we're going to make some adjustments. Because when it's always the same line that's out there for goals, that means we need to make some adjustments. So we are going to definitely readjust that top line a bit. Even though they all been really good, might as well split them up and try and find that balance of offense a bit instead of just one line. So I know we are technically up 2-1, but we are going to make some crazy adjustments here just to see if we could get things going a little bit more. So I am going to swap Hamalainen and Lehman. And I'm going to swap... I'm going to swap Ozens and Habscheid, maybe? Yeah, Ozens and Habscheid will get swapped. And we'll go with that. Oh, maybe Ahin and Lehman and Ozens. Yeah, we could try that out. Boucher down to the third line. Got to find some way to balance out this offensive a little bit. And from a defensive standpoint, this top 6 pairing is not great at all. I'm going to swap Kolesnik down to the top 6 pairing, I think. Trying to think of what I could do here. Kolesnik definitely could be down there, but I don't want to put Booze back with Kolesnik on that top 6. Let's go boys on the top 6 with Kolesnik, Booze with Fragapane, Wilson, and Cardwell. I know it's a little bit weird, but we got to try something out. And Burkov definitely has been better this series with a 9-15, so hopefully he can get back to winning some games again. And we'll keep the rest of the team the same, I think. So hopefully those adjustments will make us a little bit better defensively and find our way to get our offense going again, like it was in that first game in the series. Obviously, that second game we scored 3 goals, but we only had 1 goal in that third period, and that won us the game. We hadn't scored since the first period in that game, I think. So it would be very nice for our offense to get a little bit more consistency in its game as well. So anyways, we have a 2-1 series lead. This is a big game, obviously, for both teams. If Florida wins this, we are back to square 1. If we win this game, we are 1 win away from the Stanley Cup Finals. I almost said the Conference Finals. Obviously, though, like if we lose this, like I said, we are tied at 2, and then it's a best of 3 to decide on who's in to the Cup Finals. So this is a huge game for both teams. Let's get it done, guys. Let's get a good response, and let's get that next win. First period of Game 4. 2-0 Florida. Oh my goodness. Even with the adjustments, that didn't help out. And now we're kind of running into that problem that Saturn Taku was mentioning, that the offense was going to be bailing out the defense, or not being able to bail out the defense, and that's exactly what's happening here in Game 2, or not Game 2, Game 4. Shots are 15-5 in favor of Florida. We're being badly outplayed, but we're down by 2 goals only. So Burkov had a solid first period. He's doing whatever he can to keep this team in the game. but we definitely need to find that offense, because that offense is starting to be very quiet, and I don't like it at all. If we could at least get a goal back in the second period and not allow them to score anything, there's anything that could happen in that third period. So that's kind of what I want, is 1 goal for us and none for them. And then who knows what could happen in that third period. Second period. It is still 2-0 Florida. Oh boy. Yeah, now we're running into some good goaltending from the Florida Panthers. Shots are 25-23 in favor of us, or not us, in favor of Florida. And we're down by a pair of goals. We need to have a strong third period here, or else we are going to be tied at 2, and that is not ideal. Let's see what happens in this third period, and immediately Dodge makes it 3-0. Are you serious? That is crazy. I forgot that they had a Dodge as well. Lindsay makes it 4-0. Yeah, now Burkhov's getting caved in because our defense can't play shit. Porter makes it 5-0. This is exactly what Saturn Otaku was mentioning. Lack of offense, and our defense just starts to play shit. So we're going to have to make even some further adjustments, because that's the second straight game we have given up 5 or more goals. And we get outscored 11-1 in these 2 games in Florida. So not good. Maybe they're just a good team in Florida, but that is not what I want to see from my team. As you can see, okay first period, good second period, but a bad third period throws us down even more into the water, and we drown for sure. Yeah, Gabriel Zeg stole them that game too. Not just their offensive touch. It was good goaltending as well. But yeah, we have played very bad in these last 2 games. Both teams have had some rough games though defensively. Because we won 5-0. 3-2, we just barely won that game. Or else they would have been up 3-1 now at this stage. And now they're outscoring us 11-1 in the last 2 games. So we're going to need to make some adjustments here, else we might drop 4 straight and lose in this conference finals. Chicago's already into the Cup finals, so they have swept the Flames, which is kind of crazy, considering I think that Flames team is still pretty good. So, shout out to Chicago. What are we going to do here? Oh, man, that plus-minus on some of these guys is not ideal. Yeah, the plus-minus is starting to get pretty bad. I'm going to have to make some huge adjustments here. So, we are going to go to Wilm on the wing. We're going to go Ahinen on center. We're going to actually Boucher at center. We're going to go Ahinen on the second line with Del Rivera and Lehman. And then Habscheid is on 6 points. Hamalainen is on 11. We'll keep that the same. Who do I want as the third line center? I guess we'll go with Hartman, because he's an actual center. His fourth line has been okay defensively. We'll go with Booz and Cardwell. Wilson and Fragapane, I don't want to have them together. That's the thing. Okay, we'll go with Fragapane and Kolsnik. And we'll go with Boys and Wilson. And then goalie-wise, yeah, Burkhov's stats have definitely dropped off to a 9-10. I would change goaltenders, but I don't know if it's a good thing to do, because Budens has never really played in the NHL playoffs before. He briefly has. He had some really good run a couple of years ago. We could always give him a chance just to give Burkhoff some break, but I don't think that's worth it. I could try and get Evan Dodge back in, but he's a sniper, so he would just help out more with the offense. I mean, we could take out Raymond or something instead, but I don't think that's worth it. I think we got to just keep up with the exact same players, but obviously the lines are just reworked. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to run with. It's a bit weird, but it is what it is. Is there anybody I could call up? So there is guys I can call up if I wanted to. Jerry Coop is pretty much ready. Holy crap. This guy was a Lowe's top 6 forward that was drafted in the 7th round, and he's ready. That's interesting. So there's Jerry Coop, and then there's Mats Jacobson, who's an insane passer. So Mats Jacobson would be an intriguing one, but I might just wait till next season because he's a low elite. We definitely have some players that could get called up at some point or be in the NHL roster next year. From a defensive standpoint, I could always call up one of these guys instead. I do like Mangone's defense. We could call up Mangone and send down Wilson. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. We're going to send down Wilson and call up Mangone from the AHL. Wilson was only signed as a depth defenseman anyways. And I do like Mangone's defense a bit better. So Mangone is going to come up for the playoffs, just to give us maybe a little bit more defensive capability. Because bringing in another DFD would maybe help us out in that sense, because obviously we want to keep the puck out of the net. So Mangone in, and he apparently doesn't work with Booze unless that's our boys, unless that's a glitch. Let me just try and put Wilson back in here. Wilson dropped down to a 75. Damn, I didn't even realize that. Okay, no, it is an even 0. That's good. So yeah, we'll go with Mangone and boys, and we'll see if that helps us out defensively by bringing in another DFD. He has good shot blocking, good defensive awareness, so I'm hoping that he could help us contain Florida's offense that they've had in the last 2 games. Well, those are the adjustments we're going to make. Let's see if we could bounce back here. Obviously, we've lost 2 straight games in Florida, but we're back on home ice where we've won 2 straight games. So if we can win this game in here on home ice, hopefully we could get back to winning on the road eventually as well, because obviously we do not have a lot of time left in this conference finals. So here we go. This is a huge Game 5. Winner of the series will be 1 win away from the Stanley Cup Finals. Can we get it done? We got to win in front of our home fans. Let's do it, boys. Let's get that offense going and play good defensive hockey as well. First period. 1-1. I'll take that. Boucher opens the scoring. Sergeyev, of course, ties it for them. I kind of wish we had Sergeyev still, but there's not really much room for him with the amount of wingers we have. So that's the only thing. Shots are 14-6 in favor of Florida, but it's a 1-1 game. So we're getting outplayed, but so far Burkov had a strong first period. Obviously, we need to start getting a lot more shots on goal, or else Dag will be able to stop a lot of pucks. This is a big second period here. Hopefully, we can find a way to get that lead, because obviously, if we're tied at 1 going into the third, it's going to get a little bit scary. Second period. 2-1 us. Huge goal, and it's Bernard Boucher again on the power play. Bernard Boucher's got 2 goals in this big game. Maybe he lives for these big moments. Shots are 22-17 in favor of us. We're up by 1 goal. Can we get some insurance in the third period to give me a better chance at winning this game? Let's see if Boucher could maybe get the hat trick too, because that would be kind of neat. Come on, boys. Let's get it done. Let's get some insurance. Whitmore ties the game up. That good OFD. Oh my goodness. No, Burkov, please. Edward Sale gives them the lead 3-2. Come on, guys. Let's have a response. 5-on-3 power play. Come on. And we do not score on it. We should have scored on it. Final few minutes. Power play late, and we didn't score either. And unfortunately, we are going to be trailing in the series now. We've lost 3 straight games, which is kind of what I was expecting after we scored 5 goals in the first period. 5 goals in the first game. We have lost 3 straight games after that. That's not great. We had a lead going into the third, and unfortunately, we blow it. And now we're 1 period away from being eliminated in the conference finals. We need to win 2 straight games to get us to this cup final, so that's going to be very tough, especially against a team like Florida. Boucher from Wilman Hamalainen and Boucher from Hamalainen and Habscheid. What do we need to do to get this team to start scoring more? Because our offense definitely has dipped off, kind of exactly like Senator Nataka was mentioning. Our defense wasn't bad in that last game, though. And of course, we lose one of our better defenders, Mauricio Booz, out with a concussion, and he will miss the rest of the playoffs. Let me go replace player for the time being, but, well, that is definitely going to hurt us here. Because I think, yeah, he's out for the rest of the playoffs. That means even if we get to the cup finals, we're going to have a really weak defensive core. Wrong time for an injury, man. Wrong time. Let me just look at our players here. Yeah, because we have 3 77s in our defensive core, so we're going to go to the best guys on the top pairing, I guess. In terms of who I want to put next to Kolesnik, who is the biggest defensive liability? Fragapane's a -10 this playoff run. Okay, it's got to be Fragapane. Jeez, yeah, Fragapane has been absolutely tragic here. You would think he'd do better with the defensive awareness he has, but man. But at the same time, I should probably put Mangone just to get rid of that -2. So we'll probably do that. But Fragapane and Cracknell has never worked out well. Is there anybody else I would call up? Jude Turnbull? Maybe. I don't know. He's not hugely great, to be honest. I could call up a different goaltender, or I could try a different goaltender for a game. What do I want to do here? Let me take a look at the lines here and see who's been badly minus. Hagen's a -4. Oh my goodness. Habscheid's a -7? Okay, I think I'm going to take Habscheid out of the lineup. Yeah, we're going to take Hapshite out of the lineup. He's dreadful defensively right now. And we will probably throw in Emmanuel Dodge here. Not Sherov. Sherov can't really play defense either. We'll throw not Emmanuel Dodge, Evan Dodge. I don't know who Emmanuel Dodge is. That might be the guy on Florida. Evan Dodge will come into the lineup just to play maybe a bit better defensive hockey. And in terms of other things we could do lineup-wise, just because there's a chance that Wilm could retire this offseason, and Lehman could too, we are going to put the old men back together on that top line. Reunite them for maybe one last chance. They might all come back next season, but still, just in case. We will also keep the rest of these lines maybe the same. And then Haken, we might move up, maybe? Actually, I would like to keep the offense where it is with Dodge, so I think we'll go with that. And defense will go with that. I'm not really a huge fan of what our roster's looking like right now, but we got to win 2 games. It's doable, but it's going to be tough because we got to win a game in Florida, which we have not done yet this playoff run. We win this game, we force a Game 7 back on home ice. We lose this game, we lose in the conference finals after what started off as a good conference finals with 2 good wins has definitely turned into not that great. We have now been outscored in our last 3 games by a score of 14-3. So we need Burkov to have one of his best games of the playoffs. We need our defense to play good, which is going to be weird considering we have an injury. And we need our offense to step it up because we've only got those few goals in our last few games, which is not great. So we need guys like Mauricio to have a huge game here. Can we force a Game 7 back on home ice? We need to do this, boys. Real-time simulation since it's an elimination game. Let's see if we can get it going. We need a much better effort. Penalty kill to start the game. Don't take penalties in this one, boys. Short-handed goal from Ahinen, of all people. I was not expecting that. And Ozens with a huge goal to get us up there. Cardwell makes it 3-0. Okay. Our offense is starting off really good. But obviously there's still a lot of hockey left in this game. So got to be a bit wary about that. Gamache makes it 3-1. Hold them off, boys. Thank you. 3-1 after 1. We're being outshot 19-10. So a very good first period from Mateo Burkov. And our offense managed to get to Dag early, which is great. But obviously there's still 40 minutes left. So we need to have a good second period defensively here. Because I want Burkov to get this win here. And hopefully Game 7, we can do something good for our fans if we get there. Second period underway. Let's get some insurance here, boys. Let's get that insurance. Mauricio Wilm. Obviously, we can't call him Mauricio Booze because he is sitting in the press box because of his injury he suffered last game. And there's a power play goal for the Florida Panthers. Blomdahl, but a huge goal from Hamalainen to answer right back. That's exactly what I wanted. And then their Dodge scores and Combe scores. Burkov is falling apart in this period, but we're also giving up a ton of shots. God damn it, guys. We had a 3-1 lead after one period, and then we get outscored 3-1 in the second, and it's going to 4-4 game. Going into the third. At least our offense is better in this game, but their offense has been much better over the last few games, which is not great. We're being outshot 36-23, so without Burkov, this would be a very tough game. They have their backup in net too, the 76 overall guy after that first period, so I'm hoping that we can find a way to get that 5th goal and find a way to lock this one down, but at this rate, I don't know if I feel safe because of the fact that we just blew a 3-1 lead. Let's see what happens in this third period. This might be our last period of the season. Let's see what happens. See if we can get that lead back. Power play for us. We do not score. Penalty kill. Long penalty kill. Stop taking penalties. They get a power play goal. Boons is in net now, and Salo scores as well. We're down 6-4. And it looks like our season is going to come to an end because we lose 4 straight games. Maybe Mauricio gets us back within 1. Are we going to intervene? Let's intervene. Might as well. We might as well intervene and watch because this could be the last time we see Mauricio in the lineup. So we're going to intervene here. I'm going to remove my face. I know we might get eliminated here in the conference finals, but I want to see those guys out there for potentially one last time just in case. And there is still a chance that we could tie this game up and get it to overtime and force a Game 7. But obviously it's going to take a lot of work. And with the accelerated clock for the first 30 seconds of the third period, it's not good. So... Our last 30 seconds. We're down only by a goal with 3 minutes left. We need that next one, boys. We're probably going to end up pulling our goalie at some point here. Mauricio walks in and a huge save from Domi, who's in that, like I said, that 76 overall goaltender. We should be able to find a way to score goals on him. Only down by a goal. We just got to find a way to get this to OT, and then hopefully from there we can win it. And then hopefully we could get to a Game 7 victory as well. But the likeliness of that happening is pretty slim. Ahinen at the draw. He's got the quick draw, but he doesn't win it. Ahinen throwing his weight around. Throws it back to Wilm. We are getting some pressure here. Chance to the net. It's blocked. We actually had full pressure, but didn't get anything out of it. Come on, guys. Get it away. Don't let Whitmore just walk in with it. Nice play by Wilm. Standing him up at the line. Lehman carrying it in. Throws a bad pass. Peterson picks it off. Gamache the other way. And yeah, see, the accelerated clock for the first 30 seconds is really annoying. I wish they would turn that off when you're actually playing offline. Because online, maybe it makes sense, but Willem walking in. We do have an empty net now, so we have the extra attacker, Cardwell. Throws it over, doesn't work. Cardwell gets it back again, banks it down low. Ahinen walks out, shoots, and turned away by Domi. Get it away, boys. Del Rivera with a huge pick. Del Rivera tries to throw it over, can't get it through, and yeah, Hillman's got a clean lane to the net. But he does waste enough time. Final 5 seconds. We are going to be eliminated in the conference finals after we had a 2-0 series lead. And if this is it for Mauricio Wilm, he will not get a Stanley Cup, which is not great. I'm going to skip that cutscene because I don't want to see it. That really sucks. We had a 2-0 series lead, and then we started to play that offensive, our defense. The defense started to not play good, and that lost us the series. I would not put on any of these games on Burkov, really. I would put on our defense mainly because of the fact we suffered injuries. We had 77s and stuff, but is that the last time we see Mauricio in the lineup in some of these guys? Lehman's probably not going to retire, but Mauricio, it might be the end for him. I want to see him again just so I could maybe get a cool screenshot of him. He's got such a crazy beard when it comes to playoff time. Let's see him turn around. Oh, there he is. Yeah, look at that beard. Like, this guy's nickname should be Thor at this point. Let me just hide my face. And let me grab a screenshot of him again. Because it's always good to get screenshots of your top guys, you know? There you go, just took a screenshot. Kind of love that I could do that with my my stream deck now. So there you go. Oh, man, that sucks. Who was badly minus in that game? Because, yikes. Cardwell was a +4 in that game. I don't know how, but shout out to Cardwell. And it was Mangone and Kolesnik who were -2. So I don't know if I should have called up Mangone or not, but it was the best option for our team. And unfortunately, we are going to lose 6-5 and be knocked out in the conference finals. So no cup finals this year. I was hoping we'd at least get to the cup finals to give us another chance, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. It's going to be a Florida and Chicago Stanley Cup finals. That sucks. Let's take a look at our player stats anyways, and then we will simulate to the awards, wrap up the season, and then see the retirements too, because we might end up losing some guys. So, Mauricio was fantastic at times, 24 points in 17 games. Obviously not scoring as much goals as he normally would, but a lot of assists. Is this the end for Mauricio in his career? Hopefully not. 121 playoff points now, and no Stanley Cup. Bernard Boucher was solid at times. Hartman was okay offensively. Like, some of the offense is not bad, but like guys like Richter needed to do a lot more. Oh man, I forgot that we had him locked up long term too. 5 by 3.3. We need to get him more ice time for sure, or else he's gonna just drop off a lot and he's gonna be like a cap whale. Lehman on 21 points, he was really solid at times too. Hamline on 14. Ozens on 10, but Habshai was dreadful. Didn't really bring a lot of offense for a sniper, only 2 goals, and he was a -7. Haken was Del Rivera was really good. Raymond, not so much either. Defensively, Cardwell was really good. Boys was really solid as well at times. But you can see Fragapane was a liability. Kolesnik was not much of anything. His might be his last game, season too here, which is crazy. Mangone was okay at times, but he was not great. Cracknell was not good at all, and Booze wasn't the best either. So, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of some of our player stats here. Burkov was definitely not as good in that conference finals, but he was good at times too. Probably got hung out to dry by our defense. And Budens was tragic. He was actually the one that was in net for that last little bit of the game. He allowed 3 goals in those 15 minutes. If our coach didn't make the decision to change from Burkhoff to Budens, maybe we would have won that game. So, yikes. But we were heavily reliant on the top 3 guys, Lehman, Del Rivera, and Wilm. Without them, I don't know if this team would have even got to the 3rd round. So that sucks. Now we got to find out who wins the Stanley Cup and all that stuff. And like I said, the retirements will be in this episode just in case we end up losing players. Let's see who wins the Stanley Cup. It's going to be Chicago, so we don't even lose to the best team in the league. But the Chicago Blackhawks are your Stanley Cup champions in 2042. Let's take a look at what was on their roster, actually, because I wanted to take a look at that just because I am curious if any former players of ours went to Chicago. So, Chicago, led by Connor Bedard at 36 years of age, so he gets another Stanley Cup potentially. Okay, there's a couple other guys. What else do they have here? Not really recognizing a lot of their players on their team, which is interesting. Yurchek is still playing. That's Adam Yurchek. Yeah, I don't recognize any of these guys. Blake Blunden I do recognize. I did remember he was one of the better goalies in the regular season as well. A .943 save percentage this year. They went 16-2. Shout out to the Blackhawks who just destroyed worlds, apparently. So there's that award-wise. Let's see these awards. So Chicago, the Stanley Cup champions. Seattle won the President's Trophy, and it was Chicago and Florida in the Cup Finals. DeCelios, the Art Ross for the 2nd straight year. McGrath, the Hart. Foligno to Norris for Seattle. Catan wins the Lady Byng. Owens for Carolina, the Calder. I almost did the Jack Adams for some reason. Boynton wins the Conn Smythe. Khudobin the Vezina. Burkhoff won the Jennings, him and Budens, but it did not get us the cup. But Burkhoff has now won 2 Jennings, and he also has 2 Vezinas in his career. So shout out to Burkhoff. Kapanen winning the Masterton. O'Neill, which is Detroit's coach, wins the Jack Adams. Wennerberg to Selke. McGrath to Lindsay. DeCelios also wins his 2nd straight Richard. AHL-wise, any awards for our AHL team down there? Probably not. No. Okay. So those are the awards. Now the question is the big question. The retirements. Obviously, we'll see the draft lottery results here too. But retirements. Who is going to retire this season? Are we going to lose anybody? Colorado has the 1st overall pick, followed by Pittsburgh, the Islanders, Winnipeg, and Boston. We're at that stage now, though, where our team is going to drop off and we're not going to have a lot of jump up from the AHL. We are going to have a couple guys, I guess, but still. Let's see the retired players. Did we lose anybody to retirement in this season? Let's start off with centers. Okay. Oh, wow. We did not lose, obviously, Wilm, which is the main thing. But if you look at number 3, Aiden Stajan has called it quits at 36. 1,180 points in 1,469 games. That is one of the bigger former players of our franchise mode. He was dropping off offensively a bit, but what a player he was. Aiden Stajan might be one of the more underrated players in the series. Only played 48 career playoff games, so after he left us, didn't really get a lot of action with Tampa, which is interesting. But he was a 3rd round pick. Very good one at times. Made a lot of money in Tampa Bay. Shout out to Aiden Stajan. Best of luck to him in retirement. And yes, I do see the next one. And you guys might do as well. The Sheriff has hung him up. At 35 years of age, the Sheriff has called it quits. 556 career points in 941 games, primarily assists. He doesn't even hit 100 career goals, but what a career the Sheriff had. Playoff-wise, he was at 15 points in 31 games. Also had a good run in the AHL playoffs last year. Man. That kind of sucks, because the Sheriff was one of the most underrated picks I've ever seen. Obviously, we took him so late in the 7th round. He didn't really have much potential, was it? Wasn't it only like low 6 or something? I don't remember exactly. It wasn't a low elite for sure, but he ended up generating very good stats and playing along some really good players. Picked up a lot of points in his career because of that. And, yeah, that one is definitely a tough retirement to swallow. Hopefully the Sheriff ends up being the sheriff out of county jail or something like that. Maybe he could just hang around with our Halifax team a little bit more. Maybe he'll be like kind of like a bodyguard instead of a sheriff, because why not? Maybe he'll be a bodyguard for Mauricio, because he's 6'2", 207. He should be a decently sized guy, and he could kind of put maybe a little bit of fear into people's eyes, even though he didn't take a lot of penalties in his career. Because I believe, how much penalty minutes did he have? Yeah, only 112 penalty minutes in 941 games. So he was a very disciplined guy, which is kind of what a sheriff is, I guess. That's kind of interesting. Anybody else interesting on the center side of things? Not Skirbic. He wasn't ours. That was a different Skirbic. Trying to see what else here. Left wing wise, nobody that I recognize. Right wing wise, trying to see if there's any other former players here. Oh, Dennis Elliott retired. We did play that guy a lot in the playoffs. Joel Pitton sounds familiar. He was ours. I thought so. Okay, Joel Pitton. He had not played in a long time, but he did play 328 games with us with 60 points. Was a minus 209. Never played in the NHL playoffs, obviously. Shout out to Joel Pitton, because I honestly forgot about him, to be honest. So there is that. Clifford Sloan, who are you? Arizona. Don't recognize you, I don't think. Oh, Keaton Reeves retired. I thought it was like Keanu again. I think last time I made that joke about him being Keanu Reeves. Defensively, Owen Power retired Pelico, so some big retirements on the defensive side of things. That Dodge guy retired against us. But it does not look like we lost Kolesnik, which is kind of a surprise. So, kind of surprised about that. Anybody else? Who is Leonard Cruz? Or Leonard Cruz, Chicago. Wow, that guy was a first-round pick at 14th overall, and he only played 19 games. Goaltending-wise, Wallstead retires in Buffalo. Nitamaki. Andre Nikitin. Former goaltender of your Halifax Raiders. Did play a few more years in the AHL with Bridgeport and with Utica. And, yeah, that's, But he did actually play NHL playoff games with us. I forgot about that. He was absolutely dreadful in them. But Andre Nikitin, a career .892 save percentage. So not very good numbers, but he's going to retire at 34. Shout out to Nikitin. Domi for Florida just retired after that game. That's interesting. So we did lose a couple former players, and obviously the big one is Mr. Sherov. So once again, we will salute to the Sheriff for his great career here, being one of the best steals we've ever had, and one of the best players that have overperformed expectations by a long shot. So shout out to Sherov, and he has retired. Coaching wise, we did lose Kamila Ruzishka, which is likely a goalie coach or something in the AHL. And NHL wise, we did not lose anybody. Okay. We do lose our QMJHL scout, so if you could remind me to sign a QMJHL scout, that'd be good. Not that the drafts really matter at this stage, and that is all that. Let's do a wrap-up of the contract situation, the progress reports, and the draft class, and then I'll be it for this episode. But, oh, man, that sucks. But losing Sherov makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, wow, we have a lot of big UFAs, and I don't know who of these guys I would actually be willing to pay. Hamalainen wants a lot of money still, but not as much as before. Maddox boys, he's likely to start dropping off. He wants still over $6 million, closer to 7. Habscheid wants 6. What about Hagen? He wants 4.02, which is not bad. We could give Hagen a better opportunity if we let go of Habscheid. Raymond only wants 4.8, but that's still a lot of money. Yikes, a lot of these guys want to get paid quite a bit. Dodge wants 2.5. Booze probably wants 4 at least. $8 million for Mauricio Booze? What in the hell? Well, I don't really know what our team's defense is going to look like next season. Mangone doesn't want that much, which is good. So likely I'll bring back Mangone and let go of Booze at that stage. Turnbull wants over $2 million. I don't think he gets that. Coop will probably be getting close to the NHL. Yeah, we're definitely not going to be good next season on the defensive side of things, I think. Because there's a good chance that we end up losing maybe Boys and Booze. Maybe Turnbull. And then we end up earning like Mangone, Fragapane again. Yeah, our defense has definitely fallen off a lot. We do still have Boone's rights for one more year. So the good thing with him is we could still qualify him for another season. Micheli's probably gone because he's not really much of an NHL goalie. Well, he's not an NHL goalie for us, at least. And then there's also Zadorov. What do we do with Zadorov? Does he play in the AHL for one season, or does he become our backup as early as next season? He's a 79/20. So I want you guys' impact on that, because maybe he plays backup next season, and then we don't even qualify Budens. There's things like that we could do. So I'll leave that stuff up to you guys if you want to provide some feedback on that. Progress reports rise. Did we get any crazy growth or any crazy drop off? Looks like Ozens is getting that good growth, of course. Jacobson as well is a guy that's going to probably jump to the NHL next season, which is good. Gives us a bit more offensive depth. So we can't afford to lose somebody like Raymond, I guess. But yeah, Mauricio is on statistical growth, but he's also dropping off, especially physically. And his skating speed is also going down a little bit too, or quite a bit. Also shot blocking and stick checking. So Mauricio's offense is still there, but he's definitely on the decline. Same with boys. Man, that hurts a lot. Kolesnik too. Really surprised that he's sticking around for another year. I thought he was going to retire. Huh. Interesting. So there's that. In the system-wise, are we getting any good players that might make it? So Zadorov obviously could play as a backup next season. Coop could make the NHL potentially. Manny Booz could potentially make it to the NHL next season if he gets a little bit more growth before the start of the season. Sexsmith is kind of close. So there is a couple guys that are close, but mostly on the offensive side of things, which means our defense is it's not going to be great. Unless we bring back everybody on the defensive side of things, but who knows if that will happen. Final thing, the draft class. What is this draft class looking like? Obviously, it doesn't really matter at this stage because a lot of these guys might not make it, but just in case there's anything interesting here in the later parts that we could pin, which as of right now does not look to be much. There is a goaltender, Kari Kerman. Obviously, we don't really need another goalie. We could use more goalies, but we don't have the time to really develop them. There is a potential low-lead sniper, or not sniper, low-lead sniper, actually, and Frederick Schustrom. That's funny. We'll pin him in case. Me top 6 and Don Calico. We'll pin him, I guess. Komatov, I don't know. Let me just pin and see if there's any low-leads. Any low-leads would be great at this stage. But obviously, we don't have a lot of time to develop any prospects at this point. There is one, a low-lead power forward in Vaclav Verbata. Interesting. Low-lead power forward. And he's listed as a gem. So that's definitely somebody I would take in this draft. But I don't know if they'd make it before the series ends. Also, Maxim Kavanov is definitely one just because we need more defensive help. So there is a couple low-leads for sure, which is really nice because that could help us a bit. But obviously, it might be a little bit too late. So there's that, and that's going to do it, guys, for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll have another offseason here in Halifax as we look to find a way to get this team still being decent in terms of defensive core, at least, because our offensive core should be fine, but the defensive core definitely is going to be taking a big hit, and obviously that could hurt our chances at getting that Stanley Cup, because I don't know if our window is closed. I think it probably is, but obviously it's up to us to reopen it and get that fresh air in for our team. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.